Hey there folks, this is Matt once again, and the time has come for my re-review of Blade Runner 2049. We watched this again today, and I gotta say, I love this even more than when I saw it in the theater. Loved it when I saw it in the theater, but that first review was more of me being in awe and sort of blown away, like, wow, I got to see this in the theater. And apparently I was one of the only people that saw this in the theater, which pisses me off. It's like 2012 again with Dread. Saw Dread in a theater in 3D, great 3D, great movie. Seemed like I was one of the only, because it bombed, and then this film bombed and bombed badly. And it did bomb, folks. That's why the company, I believe it's pronounced Alcon Media Group, they're losing like $80 million. You can look it up. And that sucks. It's not even like, oh wow, there needs to be sequels. It's just, before I get into the movie, why do I talk about that in a lot of movies? Like, I get pissed when movies become bombs, but they didn't deserve it, or movies become hits and they did not deserve that either, because Hollywood looks at box office. Of course, it's a business. It's the entertainment business, and they will keep making the ones that become hits. Makes logical sense. A formula is easy to follow for studio to be on its feet instead of laying off people, laying off workers, shutting down. But I look at 2017, this film came out. I look at films like The Last Jedi. Yes, I'm going to go on about The Last Jedi again. And that film sucked. Cocks from hell. The devil's cock would even be like, don't touch me, Last Jedi. Last shithead, don't touch me. You're too evil even for me. Overrated, overpraised, horse shit. Made billions of dollars, didn't get my money. I didn't give it a fucking dime, and I'm glad for it. And then Sony, who released this with Warner Brothers as well. Sony, right there at the beginning. One of their biggest hits now is Jumanji 2. Like the second biggest hit ever, at least in the US, maybe even worldwide. I think it's 387 million in the US and 919 million worldwide. That's my, let that sink in. If you love Jumanji 2, that's fine. And by the way, for this review, it's going to be a long one. If you're not a fan of this movie, that's fine. To each their own. This video's not going to be for you. This video's going to be for lovers of the film, because I'm going to be gushing about it and defending it and gushing some more about it. So if you don't like the film, to each their own. You're not going to really care about what I have to say if you don't like it. That's cool. Those who love it like me, maybe you're like me and pissed off. I didn't give Jumanji 2 a dime either. Saw that for free, just like Last Jedi, because I knew from the trailers, I knew it would be shit, and it was shit. And that makes 919 million worldwide. Close to $1 billion. You know how much this movie made? 92 million in the US. Compared to Jumanji 2's 387 million in the US. Think about it. A movie where Kevin Hart eats a cake and explodes because his weakness is cake. Fruit cake, more like it. Jack Black is playing a girl. So, oh, I broke a nail. Oh my God. Whatever. You have a woman dance fighting. Fucking dance fighting. Might as well be playing Parappa the fucking Rapper. Dance fighting. Kevin Hart being unfunny like the majority of his movies. Unfunny as fuck. The Rock cashing the paycheck. Shitty CGI. Shitty special effects. I'm sorry, those fucking CGI Jaguar Panthers, whatever the fuck they were at the end, not fooling anybody. and that makes over 900 million, 387 million in the US. Yet this film, 92 million in the US and a total of 259 million worldwide. So this film made at least 600 and almost $660 million. Add another six to that. 666. So at least $600 million worldwide. And about $300 million more in the US alone over this. Oh, the running time. Well, you know what? The running time didn't stop every single Lord of the Rings or Hobbit movie. Hell, even King Kong was longer than this movie. And it made a lot more than that. King fucking Kong. It's not like Star Wars The Last Jedi was that much shorter. Star Wars The Last Jedi was what? 2.5 hours? This is what? Okay, 10, 15 minutes longer. Maybe 15 minutes longer? 10, 15. But that movie makes over $1 billion. Why? Because it's Star Wars. Even though I think, in my opinion, it's a piece of fucking fleck of shit. And this film gets ignored. I was in the theater. There was not that many fucking people there. I'm like, well, that fucking figures. Dread flopped. This flopped. And so they're not going to make more. And when I say more, I'm not saying sequels. I'm saying movies that dare to go the distance in terms of special effects. This movie is an example of what the special means in special effects. Because a lot of special effects are not that fucking special nowadays. Case in point, Jumanji fucking 2. Welcome to the whorehouse. Because if you go in, you get fucked. At least I got fucked, and I saw it for free, and I still got fucked. You know why did I see those movies for free? One, because people asked me to see them. They were curious about my opinion. I didn't want to support them because they look like shit. And I want to save that money to support movies like this that I want more of, that go the distance with visuals. Hell, even with story, I would give credit to, which I'm going to. Watch this again. This is moved to my 100 favorite films of all time list. I'm making a list on Letterboxd, my 100 favorite films of all time. And yeah, it's low on that list, but I've seen thousands of movies in my lifetime. And who knows, maybe as years go on, they'll even go higher. And this is only the second time I've watched it. One in the theater, one now. And then Ridley Scott going, well, it didn't do well because it's way too fucking long. Really, Scott, you have no room to fucking talk with your alien cum and shit and your Prometheus. I liked The Martian. What else have you done in the past 10 fucking years? And hey, love Alien. I like Blade Runner. I know someone was thinking I should, oh, this seems more like a rant. No, I like Blade Runner. I mentioned in that review, I did, and the guy was like, oh, you didn't mention the tears and rain. Yes, I did. And then I even left the comment. I don't mean any rudeness by it. I just like, hey, I did leave it, and this is the time stamp on the video I mentioned it. That's a beautiful speech by Rutger Hauer, which he didn't like it either, which, I'm sorry, Rutger Hauer, we agree to disagree. Because Rutger Hauer said, oh, it had no humor and soul. Well, the first Blade Runner doesn't have that much humor either, unless when you were howling at Deckard, but that's not like it's a comedy. Blade Runner, the first one, doesn't have much humor. So I don't know where he got that. And Soul? The love story that Ryan Gosling and the hologram girl, Joy, that had soul. Ryan Gosling's character, his art that he goes through, that has soul. So Rutger Hauer, I love you. I love you in The Hitcher. I love The Hitcher. I love Split Second. I love Wanted Dead or Alive, Blind Fury. A lot of movies you've done, but we agree to disagree. And going back to Ridley Scott, okay, if you don't like the film, fine, but I'm sorry, this is better than any of your recent Alien films. This is a million times better than Alien Covenant. And that's not even an exaggeration. I don't know, maybe you're fucking jealous because this guy, Denny, which I saw The Arrival, I didn't care for Arrival. Good visuals, the acting wasn't the problem, but weirdly enough, that's a movie I felt was slow. I didn't feel this was slow watching it again at home. Because I could pause, leave a piss, get something to drink, come back, unpause it, watch it at my leisurely pace. I had a great time because it felt like an epic movie that they don't make anymore, and they're not going to make anymore. So you want to see more Jumanji 2s, more Marvel, superhero movies. Hey, I've liked a lot of them, but it's getting old real fucking fast. I haven't seen Black Panther. Some guy left a very nice comment, really nice comment on one of my videos. He's like, hey man, I get what you're saying. I agree with you. He was in the army for 11 years. He had PTSD. Apparently my videos helped him, which I don't know how that could help anyone, but it was humbling. He's like, hey, I went through that. I'm black too. I get what you're doing. What you mean, Matt. Hopefully one day you'll see it because I'm really curious to hear your opinion. Um, he liked the video I did on the Black Panthers the first. Nope. He left a comment under there. In fact, I want to give him a shout out because it was one of the most humbling comments I've seen recently. I'm no one going over the place, but this movie deserves a long ass review. And it'll be a bumbling review. It won't be a fucking it won't be a Jeremy Johns or a Chris Stuckman, which I know people prefer, but that's not how I do reviews. I know a lot of people prefer those more, but that's just now how I am. I'm more of the bumbling, going over the place stuff. But I do want to get this comment because it was really humbling. And maybe one day I will see Black Panther. Not maybe for free, but this is the most humbling comment. He said, Brandon Green is his name. Under the Black Panthers the first? Nope. Hey brother, first as a black man, I want to say you're 100% right. I found your channel almost a year ago and it has helped me with my PTSD. I was in the army for 11 years and it's nice to see someone share my views on movies. I love Blade Runner 2049. That's what got me thinking of this. And I agree with you about Black Panther. What sets me with every race is why we can't just enjoy the movies. You know what I mean? I love this video here. And then he's talking about the Black Panthers the first. Nope. I love this video here because it shows me you know your film history. I would also ask that you go see Black Panther because I would love to know your opinion on that movie. I hope you read this and this continues to motivate you to keep up the great work. God bless you, brother. I said, wow, that was really nice. He said, yes, sir, I found your channel with the Batman v Superman rant that you did. I'm a big Superman fan. He's my favorite hero, and I hate how Warner Bros. Did him. That movie made me give up on Warner. Your review on Batman v Superman had me laughing hard. I sent it to a few of my friends. You are honest and passionate, and it shows. I wish you would have 1 million subscribers. I'll never get there because you deserve it. That's debatable. I am doing fine because I asked how he was doing. I'm going to junior college right now, full time to keep myself busy. I'm serious. Keep up the awesome work. Your channel is the reason I love social media. YouTube is not many like you on here. God bless you again. This is a guy who was in the army for 11 years and he had PTSD and somehow this stuff helps him. I don't know how because all I do is talk shit and believe me, I get a lot of hate mail because they get pissed off at my opinions, but that's one of the most humbling things. And I guess maybe it popped in my head because I just read that today and wanted to give him a shout out, or because he mentioned Blade Runner 2049, or because I was talking about other movies where, okay, Black Panther, yeah, I haven't seen the film. That to me, hey, if it's good, cool. Everything I've heard, everything I've seen, it seems like an average movie at best. But it doesn't matter what I think, as the box office has everything going for it. And I got that because of Marvel superhero movies. I'm getting burned out on superhero movies. I'm getting burned out on a lot of stuff. Jumanji 2. And then I see a movie like this comes along, a sequel that is worthwhile. Hell, I even think this is better than the original. I like the first one. And I was saying before, some guy was mad thinking I mean, I wasn't ranting on the film. There's just certain parts I don't like the unicorn stuff. I don't. There's certain parts I don't like it, but I love the visuals. I love the Vangelis music. Harrison Ford's character. I wish there was more to his character. I like him because it's Harrison Ford. Here, though, I thought there was more to Ryan Gosling's character. He had an arc. One thing happens to him, and then another thing happens to him, and yeah, I thought it was a great arc. Kind of how some people felt that Rutger Hauer's character was the most interesting in the first movie. They kind of flipped that and made the hero the most interesting part of the movie, which I thought was a win in that case. And I thought Harrison Ford, the bits that he's in, does a good job. I thought there's good emotion to this movie. The score, it was never going to be better than Vangelis, but I thought it was a great follow-up. And it was in tone with the movie it was. And it just saddens me that this film bombed so badly, and then really starts like, oh, it's too fucking long. I'm like, maybe you should critique Alien Covenant and talk about the faults of that movie, because there's about 1 million of them. Same with Prometheus. Okay? And then even the Oscars. Doesn't even get a best, to me it deserved a Best Picture nomination. People can laugh at me all they want. I like Get Out. I like, granted, some of those movies I haven't seen. Of course, if I did Best Picture, Get Out would be on there. This would be on there because it'd be my top 10 favorite movies of the year. Hell, I'm the type of guy I would give John Wick 2 a Best Picture nomination. It's my favorite film last year. So, but it just doesn't get of 10 nominees. It doesn't get nominated. I like Get Out. I haven't seen Shape of Water. Fine, they want to be nominated, fine, but I think this film deserves a nomination. And the director, Denis, I probably said his name wrong, and I'm not even going to try to pronounce his last name. He doesn't get a nomination for Best Director? That's horseshit. This doesn't get nominated for Best Score, but The Last Jedi does? Fuck The Last Jedi! Even people who love the film never even mention the score of The Last Jedi because no one fucking remembers the score to The Last Jedi. I didn't look at the score, listen to the score on YouTube, and I love it. Part of the film, it fit like a glove. When I saw in the theater, I'm like, oh man, I wish I heard some more cues for Vangelis. But I'm like, you know what? I appreciate that it was doing its own thing. Yeah, if it was shitty, fine, I would want more Vangelis. But it was his own thing, and I liked it. It fit the world, and I love the world of Blade Runner. I love the look of it. I love every set is so unique. The cinematography, I'm glad the guy got nominated for Best Cinematographer. I hope he wins. But the fact it doesn't get nominated for Best Picture or Best Director, nothing, Ryan Gosling, I think, did a fantastic job, acting-wise. I think he deserved something, in my opinion. The score deserved something, and it got none of that. It got nomination for effects, it deserved it. Cinematography, it deserved it. Maybe some sound stuff and whatever. Cool. But, and people are like, okay, don't do movies like this. Do more fucking Transformer movies. Oh, Bumblebee, we're going to do more. We're going to reboot it. We're going to do this, do that. We're going to do more fucking Transformer movies. We're going to do more fucking superhero movies. We're going to do more fucking shitty Star Wars movies. But we can't have epic sci-fi movies like this. Or like Dread. Because they fucking bomb. And this comes from a guy who's passionate about movies, and of course it's all subjective. I can only talk about my subjective. That's the only subjective I should talk about. How the fuck am I going to talk about 100 people when I have enough hard time dealing with my own subjective? So every video you watch is their subjective. It's like 20 minutes without going in depth in the movie, but it fucking deserves it, man. Fucking deserves it. In the theater, it was such a great experience in the theater, and it was great watches again. It held up, and I even put a few notches. And it made me confirm, yes, I do enjoy this more than the first movie. And that's not against the first movie. Believe me, if I hated the first movie, I would admit it. I've admitted many times I do not like The Exorcist. I respect what it did. I don't like it. I was bored. I prefer The Exorcist 3. I don't like the original Night of the Living Dead. May George Romero rest in peace. I don't like the original Night of the Living Dead. Dawn of the Dead by George Romero is my favorite zombie film of all time. I much prefer Dawn of the Dead, the sequel, if you want to call that, to Night of the Living Dead. Believe me, I'll admit it. I think Blade Runner is a solid film. Here, I thought the lead character had more to do, more to deal with his character. I liked the more detective stuff he did. Deckard did a little bit of detective stuff. I like they went more of a detective stuff in the movie. It's one of the most beautiful looking movies I've seen ever. I can say that. Like I say, it puts the special back in special effects, which is something we take for granted. It looked amazing. The cinematography was beautiful. The uses of colors and orange, and you still had some moments of nighttime and rain, like at the end, we're in the water. The casting, Ryan Gosling, this is his best role since Drive. This is what Only God Forgives wishes it was, with the lighting and stuff. Only God Forgives, but I don't. That movie fucking sucked ass. This movie is kick ass. And no, it's not an action movie. It's not supposed to be. The pacing didn't bother me. Again, fuck Star Wars Last Jedi was more fucking boring for me, and it was almost as long. It was like 10, 15 minutes less. It was more fucking boring, more fucking stupid. It doesn't piss on characters. This does not piss on Deckard's character. In fact, the ending, great ending for the character. Beautiful. Perfect ending for the character. It's not like fucking Luke Skywalker being a fucking fart in the wind. And all we remember is he likes walrus titty milk. Not even human titties. Walrus titties. But that film gets the praise, box office, $1 billion. Didn't get my money. Why do you keep saying that? I don't know, because when I get pissed, just shit flies out of my mouth. You know, for the beginning, I love some of the touches they redo, like the eyeball and the landscapes, but it's its own film too. It's not fucking, people say it's a remake. I don't see how it's a remake. It's not a remake. The Force Awakens was. It's a sequel, but it's a remake. Jurassic World was. This was not. It didn't build. It didn't build. We saw more of the world of Blade Runner. How is that building? We got even more about what it means to be human. If you're a replicant, does that mean you don't have a soul? To me, I witnessed a character who, at the end of the day, found a soul because he made a choice. Even though he found out, it's like Pinocchio. He wants to be a real boy, and then he thinks he is, and then he gets the rudred out of him, and he's fucking not. The love story between him and the hologram, Joy. That's something that they built on. So what are people saying they didn't build on stuff? I like the beginning with Bautista. Dave Bautista, he's not doing too badly in movies. He's fine in Guardians of the Galaxy 1. Part 2, I blame the role, not him. What's funny, there was an interview where he's like, I read the role in Guardians of the Galaxy 2, and I'm like, I was disappointed in my character where it went through. But it seemed like, oh, I changed my mind because it'll be fun. But I'm sure deep down he's still pissed what happened to his character, and yeah, they fucked up. Yeah, anyway. That's one thing. Like Guardians of the Galaxy 2, yeah, I liked it, but it wasn't as good as the first. Like Batista, he did good for the bit that he had. You've never seen a miracle. What's funny is I remember in one of the features of the first Blade Runner, they mentioned a scene and they had storyboards of someone in a pot bubbling and someone coming in, shooting and leaving. I'm like, wow, so they took that and they put in this. That was really cool. It was a nice little fight, down and dirty. I like the bit that he takes the eye and has an eye scanner, finds a little flower. You see the landscape of the world. I love this world. It's just beautiful. Like, it's ugly, it's dirty, but it's beautiful. It's a used future. This really does feel like a movie from the 80s, and I mean that in the best possible way. It is one of the best decades to be for movies. Most would say the best decade for movies. So it makes sense. Like, this is a movie from 88, 89 or something, but in very great HD. And it looks beautiful on Blu-ray. I wish it had more features. It just, one thing I agree with my friend Mike OCP, this deserved a feature-length documentary. Has a two or so little documentaries trying to get familiar with the world of Blade Runner, and then a couple prologues, which were cool to watch. They were cool. And just, I love the look of the world, how everything looks like we're all boxed in. Humanity is boxed in to the point you can't even see the ground at times, but it's still dark and smog and dirty, yet beautiful. I thought the score was great. I think the people who did the score did a wonderful job. Hans Zimmer and Benjamin Wolfish. I think they did a great job with the score. I love the look of the LAPD building, and Ryan Gosling's beat up. People are calling it saying "fuck off, skin job," and he has this hologram girlfriend, and then he gets this device so now she can walk around without this ceiling thing. I thought that was a nice, interesting relationship, where one is like bits, zeros, and ones, and the other is a replicant. We find out very early on he's a replicant. I understand the ambiguousness of Deckard, but if you want, what do I prefer? Just tell me straight off the bat. Sometimes a lot of times I prefer that, the straight up approach. Sorry, that's just how I am. I do appreciate some ambiguous and other stuff, I do. But hey, cool. Yeah, get that bullshit out of the way. Just tell me who Ryan Gosling is. Cool. I thought the actress who played the Joy, the hologram girlfriend, I thought they had an interesting relationship. Leads to a very interesting type of sex scene that I haven't seen before. Love scene. I thought that was pretty damn cool. Because here's two artificial things, but they're doing something more human than a lot of fucking actual humans do. The fact that this Joy loves Ryan Gosling's character so much, she hires a hooker so that use her body and mimic sync her up with that body to make love to Ryan Gosling's character. I haven't seen that before. That was interesting. It was different, pretty original, and well done. Can't praise enough the special effects in the movie, but it's got some heart and soul to it as well. And it shows her the sadness of it, where when she's able to walk around there in the rain, she gets frozen because he gets a voice message. So that, she be seemingly real. Doesn't matter. She's still a machine. Gets stopped by a voice message. And then they find the bones of the. They find these bones, and you find out it's Sean Young's character, Rachel, and there was a birth. And even, just shots of him flying by. It's cool to see the Atari sign. You got Pan Am and just beautiful looking movie. It looks like a lot of models were used too. It wasn't just a fucking green screen. It seemed like a lot of real sets, real settings, and real stuff. And the usage of CGI was appropriate and worked well. It was used as a tool, not as a crutch, which I've been saying so fucking much. You want to see shitty special effects? You look at Jumanji 2. With those fucking CGI, whether I didn't Panther, Jaguar, where the fuck they were, and the shitty helicopter with the shitty fucking rhino scene. Again, that made over $900 million. This didn't even make half of that. Not even half of that. Not even Barely a what? Barely a fourth of that worldwide. Barely a fourth of that worldwide. Barely a fourth. It just pisses me off. That means we're gonna get more shit and less this kind of stuff. I want to see more people going for it, going the distance, trying. If you fail, you fail, but at least you tried. Why should they try? These films, Dread bomb, this bomb, fucking movies bomb. Hardcore Henry bomb, love that movie. Shoot 'em up bomb, love that movie. Fucking continues. People all, well, the Jumanji 2 is The Rock. Well, they didn't say Baywatch, it deserved the bomb. But getting back to this. I love the look of the roll of records at Wallace's corporation, and before that where the lighting of the orange, and you just like this one small line indentation to look into the guy and who's talking to Ryan Gosling. Love the look, I love the style, I love the set. And then when you have the sort of this light, like this light being enveloping this room with all these records, because back in the day there was this EMP pulse, which is one of the prologues done in anime style. You find they play that situation up of that EMP deleting all the records and such. It was cool. I mean, I didn't need it. You know, I didn't need the prologues. They were cool to watch, but you know, I didn't need them. But it's nice that they're there. And you hear the test from the first film where Harrison Ford was asking Sean Young about stuff. And I like that this, compared to Deckard, Ryan Gosling's a better detective. That's one thing about Deckard. He does a little bit detective, like when he finds the snake steal. But mainly it's just him getting his ass kicked. And he gets his ass kicked by one girl and has to shoot her in the back. He gets his ass kicked by Daryl Hannah and kills her luckily. He doesn't do anything to Brian James. Sean Young has to save him. And he doesn't really do anything with Rutger Hauer. He saves Harrison Ford's character. And then he doesn't do a whole lot of detecting. So, and there's a line here where he's like, I was good at your job. You know, I was good at it. I'm like, were you good at your job? You don't seem like in the first movie. You don't seem that good at your job. That's not me hating the first Blade Runner. It's me making... It's one of the things that makes me go, I like this more than the first one. The first film, I think, is solid. I think this is fantastic. You know, that's one of the many reasons why I think this is a better sequel. I felt more of a heart in this movie than the first one. With Ryan Gosling's character, where, long story short, he finds out there was this child, and then one at least another, he believes that maybe he's the child because he has his memory of this toy, and he goes to this one orphanage, and oh, it reminds him of when he was this memory that was implanted, and finds the toy there. It's like, goes to this other person who lives in this cut off place where she can make memories and use her imagination, but she's stuck in this bubble. And then she looks at it and she goes, yeah, this is someone's memory. And yet Ryan Gosling gives a great job in his performance where he screams and just, yeah, I know it's right. Sounds like he's been lied to, and this is when he thinks he's real. And then later on when he's told, no, it was a daughter, and then you get like the rug taken out of him. And this is after his loved one, Joy, has been killed by this, where she has been killed by this character named Love, who's the assistant to Jared Leto's character, Wallace. I thought all the actors did a good job. The woman who played Love, the sort of big villain of the movie, she was love to hate. There were moments I was like, okay, well, she's having to do this, but you see like tears coming down her face, but at the same time, love to hate her as well. And she steps on the device that had her, and she says "I love you" before she dies, and which makes the revenge aspect at the end for Ryan Gosling that's much more satisfying when Ryan Gosling chokes and drowns her ass in the water. Which I like. I thought that was done better here than in Logan. Because Logan didn't even get to do the revenge. He didn't get to shoot the gun at the clone. It was the little girl. If he's going to die, at least let him get the final shot. That was one of the things that bugged me. Here, at least they did that. I appreciate that. And before we get to that, when he finds out it's not him, he's not the kid, this moment arrives. This good line where it's, what was it? I wrote it down because I didn't want to forget the exact line. Dying for the right cause is the most human thing we can do. And he makes his choice while he's looking at this big hologram woman of joy. But this one looks like sort of purplish, pinkish. And she mentions the word Joe, which is what his joy called him, Joe. I mean, his name's Kay, but it's like, oh, you're human. You should have a human name, Joe. And that's where he makes a choice. It doesn't further him because he's not the kid, but he makes the right choice. And in a way, sort of does the right thing for the right reasons. In a way, gains his soul, in my opinion. So when he dies of his wounds on the steps with the snow, I remember in the theater kind of tearing up a bit. I'm like, man, that's a great choice of bringing back that music, Tears and Rain. I'm sure how Rudyard Howard gave a great speech in the end of Blade Runner. There was a great speech with the Tears and Rain with the music. Um, I can't say, I mean, I can see kind of feeling for his character, but I definitely felt more for Ryan Gosling's character. And again, there's sort of an arc where here's at the beginning, he is a Blade Runner. He's just there to kill what he's told to kill. And then at the end, he's gained a soul. You know. And I thought that was really great to see, that journey. And I miss that, yes, the beautiful locations, the idea and appearance by James Olmos. The Jared Leto, who's this blind guy named Wallace, who he wants the kid of Deckard and Rachel because he wants to create multiple amounts of slaves, slave labor to colonize the stars and go further in civilization. And I can't make enough, but if I make a million like that who can breed, then we'd have millions become trillions because they pretty much fuck each other and give birth. Then you have this other group, which some of these like hooker types belong to, who are replicants, who want to use the kids as messiah to join us in a rebellion of replicants against the humans. And Ryan Gosling's like, fuck both of you guys. Just let the dad and the kid be together. Which is the last shot of the movie, which I thought was beautiful. When Harrison Ford touches on the glass. And you hear in the last remnants of the Tears and Rain. I thought that was beautiful. Like, that's the way to end a movie. I give a lot of credit to the director for that. He uses a toy. Well, use toy. He uses a machine at one point. You'd see a lot of bits of him detecting, going through this machine, looking through DNA. It's like, wait a minute, these two DNA are similar. It's a boy and a girl. Oh, because one was fate and one is real. To hide someone. And when you watch it again, you pick up on stuff. For example, when he talks to the girl who creates memories, when you watch it again, when she sees, oh, this is someone's memory, you see she gets really emotional. And when I first saw him, I went, oh, well, she's getting really emotional because, oh, I feel sorry for this guy. When you watch it again, you realize she's getting so emotional because, oh, that's my memory. Oh, shit. And then you hear a line she says, and artist puts a piece of themselves into their work, which means she puts maybe that memory into others. And you could look at it different ways. Maybe she did it on purpose so that maybe someone will try to find her and then try to hook her up with her dad. Or she just put in people's memories because she wanted a piece of herself, and that helps the most in her creating these imaginary memories for replicants. Either way you look, watch it, and I'm like, oh, okay. And then there is a moment when the replicant, the female, I think she has one eye, tells Ryan Gosling, uh, you're not it. It's a girl." And then he remembers the memory and remembers her. Part of that, him piecing together, is the last shot is her saying an artist puts a piece of themselves into each of their work. I think I got the exact line wrong. Let's see, did I write that? I wrote a couple lines just so I can not butcher them. Probably didn't. Nah. But I'm like, oh, so okay, that's how later on Ryan Gosling realizes that's Deckard's daughter. And you show different locations. You see the orphanage where like all these kids with this one guy, and they're this orphanage where they look through all these machinery bits and parts, I guess for the offshore colonies and spaceships and things that they can use. Yeah, I love the moment where he realizes at first that, oh, maybe I'm this child, I was born, and he screams in rage, and that's when he's really become determined to find this guy named Deckard, which leads into Las Vegas. And like, yeah, the in the orphanage is this ruined city, which looked beautiful, and then you get to see Ryan Gosling kick a little bit of ass. He kicks. I mean, Ryan Gosling kicks more ass in this movie than Harrison Ford did in Blade Runner. You know, he kills Bautista, which is too bad because Bautista wasn't that bad of a guy, but that's part of the thing is that he's programmed to, before he gets the soul, so to speak, grows the soul within him, so to speak. When he crashes, his car gets shut down, he fucking takes one, breaks his back, and wounds a couple. And then Love, the evil, I call it evil bitch. I know there's more to it, but still. She's shooting these things down from this drone using these glasses. I thought that was a cool, interesting idea. Just going fire, fire, and you see it in these little sunglasses types that she wears. I thought that was an interesting way of doing it. Choking the shit out of the bitch who killed his joy, his in a way, yeah, his joy. I mean, his name Joy, but I didn't think of that. Yeah, his joy in life. And even when they're ready to take Deckard, he fucks up one, shoots him, shoots like two other guys. I mean, hell, he does more than Deckard does in the first movie. That's another reason why I like him more. And the ending, like I understand the ending of the first movie. If in the theatrical cut they had to do that happy ending, it feels like it's from a different movie because they weren't intending that. The other, it's meant to be ambiguous because they're on the run. I prefer this ending. This ending was just much more satisfying on an emotional level. And the only watching again, the only nitpick I have, sure, too, I would love to see more of Harrison Ford because I like Harrison Ford, but I thought he did good for what he did. Gave a good job in his role. You know, to love someone, you got to be a stranger. Or the scene where Jared Leto shows him and tempts him with a young, real, Sean Young. That's not her, and that looks exactly like her in the '82 film. I don't know how the fuck they did it. I don't know how the fuck they got that. It looked real. And it was not Sean Young. It was another actress, like another actress voicing, another actress mimicking. I don't know how the fuck they did that, but it looked fucking real. I'm like, holy shit. That's. You literally could have been footage from the first movie. That's how real it was. And I love the line where he's like, her eyes were green. And then Love shoots that Sean Young clone like nothing. And even before that, where he's like, well, this love that you guys have were created. It was meant to be. It was created. And he's like, I know what's real. I thought Harrison Ford gave some nice emotional moments here. One of his better performances in a long time. Yeah, he had more screen time as Han Solo in The Force Awakens, but this was more satisfying with his character, with what happens to his character, with respect to his character, than in The Full of Shit Awakens. Like, I know one guy, a very nice guy, B-Movie Mike, I don't know if you'll see this. He's like, oh, I'm not sure what they'll do with Harrison Ford. Believe me, man, they respect Harrison Ford's character a lot more than The Full of Shit Awakens. Especially the last shot of the movie. And the one nitpick, yeah, I'd like to see more Harrison Ford, sure, but the other, yeah, I would like to have seen this guy get comeuppance. I think it would be cool if Harrison Ford comes in and shoots him in the face. Maybe shoots him and shoots him in the face or something, or punches him and shoots him in the face. Sure, I'll give you those two things, but those are nitpicks. Other than that, I really don't have much problems watching this film again. And like, whether it be again the different location they use, whether it be the ruined city, whether it be Las Vegas where it's this orange, beautiful looking cinematography. I want to get the guy's name. Pretty famous cinematographer. I think it's Roger. Is it Roger Deakins? Is Roger? Come on, I know it's here. Roger A. Deakins. Yeah. Hampton Fancher. Hampton Fancher did the story for this. And worked on it with Michael Green. I thought you guys did a really good job with the story. Really enjoyed the story. And the look of Las Vegas, and even the little bit where Decker chases Ryan Gosling, and you have all these light show and Elvis, and Harrison Ford just punching the shit out of him, and he's like, well, we keep doing this, we're gonna have a drink. Or even when Ryan Gosling looks at this dog and goes, is that real? He's like, I don't know. Why don't you ask him? So there's humor. Roger Howard, there's humor. As much as the first film, which didn't have much humor. Is it real? I don't know. Ask him. And again, I can't help it just bothers me why this film did so poorly. I mean, people talk about the length, but Lord of the Rings, Hobbit, so many other Transformers. I know the last Transformers didn't do the best, but the fourth one, Transformers 4, Marky's Funky Bunch. I mean, it's not like the others were fucking classics. That's a part 4, and that was like 2 hours and 40 some minutes. It's another movie I didn't pay my money to see. I'm like, this movie was shit. Just how bad it is, like a car wreck. So I saw it for free. I'm like, yeah, it's that fucking bad. People saw that movie, which I guess is so fucking. Everyone else thought it was so fucking bad. That's why they didn't see the last night. But that still made more money than Blade Runner 2049, at least worldwide. Fuck me, man. The stupid piece of shit Ninja Turtles movie that Michael Bay produced, especially that first one, the Super Chuds, made more money in the U.S. than this movie. And that movie sucked ass. And this is coming from a huge Ninja Turtle fan. That movie sucked ass from 2014. Both of Michael Bay produced crap fest, sucked my dick, and then they bit it. so I kicked it in the face. I know this is like some part review, some part ranting on the bullshit. I can't help it. I just have to go all out for this movie. So, I mean, I love the look. I love the style. I love the world. I love the. There's a lot of real stuff in here. It's not just in a fucking green screen. I enjoy Harrison Ford's performance. Sure, it'd been cool to see more of him, but I thought he did a good job. Had some nice emotion moments, like her eyes were green moments, and the talking with Ryan Gosling, the moment, what was the exact word that I said already? Yeah, I know what's real moment. Ryan Gosling did a great job. This back and forth. Am I real? Am I not? Was I born or I wasn't born? What choice are you gonna make? The ending was satisfying. The music fit the film like a glove. The cinematography was beautiful. It still had that themes of the first film, and honestly, I thought it did it better. I really did. Because here you have a guy who wasn't born, but he chose to do the right thing, witnessing a miracle, and choosing what was right. It's not about politics. It's about choosing what was right for right reason. A father and a daughter to reconnect them. As well as get a little bit of revenge in there for someone he loved who was just a hologram but was more in love than I'm sure a lot of humans could ever have. And he got beat by a fucking movie with Kevin Hart exploding from eating a fucking cake. And people wonder why I'm harsh on certain movies. Because I'm like, well, that movie got the pass. And maybe it's like, I think that was what I'm going with that Black Panther thing as well. Like, if I ever see that movie, I have a feeling it's going to be either so average, I'm like, what's the big deal with this movie? I get the I'm talking about the movie. I'm talking about the movie. The politics, bullshit, the movie. This, I see the movie is a great fucking movie, in my opinion. If you don't agree, to each their own. But you agree or disagree. But I've gone on for like 50 minutes on the film. But that's how much I love it. Kind of wonder if anyone will ever do a fan edit because you see all these edits for. Apparently, there was a 4-hour version of this that they cut down for this, and that will never be released. Even the director said so, which is too bad. Because I would gladly see it. I would gladly see that. I very much would. That's how much I love this movie. And for those wondering, 2007, yes, John Wick 2 would still be number one on my list because the action genre, those are the kind of movies I love the most. But this is a sequel that did not disappoint. This is a sequel I think is much better. Maybe I'm the only one that thinks that. Maybe I'm the only one that thinks it's better than the original. And I like the original. I do. And I point that out because some people seem to think I don't like it. Watch that review again. I do like it. Say quite a few things I do like about it. I don't think it's perfect though. Also, I want to mention Robin Wright as Lieutenant. She did a good job as well. Don't want to leave her out. Well, so much that was on point in this movie. It was great to witness and experience. So I'll end it with that. It was wonderful to watch this again on Blu-ray. Beautiful film. Deserves so much more, man. Deserves so much fucking more. But it did not get it. And that's just the way it is. And it fucking sucks. It's not the first time throughout decades. I mean, hell, the poster behind me is a fucking Golden Child poster. that got shit on and flopped. Well, box office disappointment, I should say. It didn't flop, but people hated it. Roger Howard doesn't like the film. Not a lot. A lot of people are saying it's overrated. If you feel it's overrated, fine. I can understand that. I'm sure if I ever see, well, I thought The Last Jedi was overrated. I think Jumanji 2 is overrated. I almost guarantee if I ever see Black Panther, I'm going to say it's overrated. Just as a movie. I've seen quite a few reviews and I didn't hear anything worthwhile. And maybe I'll review that movie for that one guy. Very humbling comment. But Blade Runner 2049. Great movie. Thanks for watching. Take care, and we will see you later.